And my boss is like, we need a whole program, build a program. I was at the career point where I really wanted to become, I was thinking about becoming an administrator and moving into curriculum and development and stuff like that. So I thought, well, I'll go back to school, get my master's. At the same time I did that, I built the program as part of my master's work.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden we've got this video program, and now I'm out of teaching still photography almost entirely,
Right.
teaching video production and all these other filmmaking and things like that. And it's just been a weird evolution, but it's always been just kind of a natural curiosity about things, and that desire to kind of pass along some information
Right.
to others and help them out. So
That was the best thing that you could have did, because this program sort of changed my life, man, for the better. And that's why I'm negative and positive right now, because of this program,
perfect.
because it changed my life to even how I look at people and take things in. And like, I know how to, like, usually I react like immediately, like even like the incident I had last semester with the student, we ain't gonna talk about it, but like it took everything in me, like I didn't want to say nothing to him, but it's the thing in me that I have to address it, but it's a way to address it, and it's a way to like handle it that you don't gotta blow it out of proportion and make a big scene. But like I said, I couldn't control it that time, but I learned how to really dial it down and just like, all right, I ain't like how you said that to me, but we can get past that. Like, we can still work together and still have a good time in this class and in this program, because like I said, even he was an awesome student too. So,
and if you can get those people to listen, but you know, the right time and the right place, because when tensions are high, you know, or emotions are high, you're working hard at something, that's not a time to address anything.
Nope.
That's one of those things you learn in life, right?
Yep.
It's like, what would you tell your younger self?
Yeah.
Exactly that. Even your younger self 1 year ago.
Yeah, for real.
Anyway, and that's kind of the cool thing about, I think about education, but I think about life in general, is like, if you really pay attention, you learn every day.
Yep.
Every day.
Never too old to learn something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I learned, like, from my interactions on a day-to-day basis with students in the classroom. I was talking to Koku the other day. He's from Tongoland.
Okay.
And we had a few spare minutes, so I was asking him about his country, and I learned so much about him and so much about his country and so much about his journey here in 15 minutes. And that will change how I work with every student who comes from Africa.
Okay.
Because he just had some insights and some information that I was not privy to before that.
Right.
And it took 15 minutes of I was just curious. I just wanted to have a conversation with him.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I've learned a ton about it, and that will change everything. And so that, you need to learn every day.
Yeah.
So, which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, do you have anything else you want to tell to, like, some people or some students?
It's a long journey. You'll never know where you're going to end up at. I had never really planned to be a teacher. Certainly didn't plan to be teaching video production. Video, when I was first coming up as a still photographer, it was really, it was TV news, and that was pretty much it. And movies, obviously. Right. But the landscape and the technology has changed so much. That's actually what allowed us to build the program, was the technology got smaller, faster, and cheaper. And now we could afford to build a program in video production, whereas before you would have had to spend boatloads of money. I mean, we spend a lot of money the way it is.
Yeah.
We would have spent 3 times, 4 times, 5 times as much money
if
the technology hadn't changed. And that's one thing that, I've evolved from, started in black and white film, strictly black and white film in newspapers, up through color. And when color photography came into newspapers, it was very cumbersome. The processes were very slow. Worked through all of that, had great times with that. And then digital comes in, and it changes the landscape again, and everything we're learning. And literally, like, we had one of 2 digital cameras in the state of Iowa.
Wow.
For about a year and a half. And very few in the country at that point, actually production level cameras. And so you had to learn that, and then then after that, I moved into teaching. So it was like, so what would I tell people? It's just like, embrace what you're doing now. Change is going to be there all the time.
Yep.
It just dig into it, dive into it, help others out, look to others around you for resources. Don't be afraid to ask somebody who you think maybe doesn't know as much as you. You'd be surprised.
Right.
There's a lot of people out there who know a lot of things, and they just don't necessarily, they're not braggarts, they don't come forth, or they're not talking about themselves a lot, but they're very wise people.
Yeah.
And that goes technically, or just life skills and all those things. I am an incurable talker. If I sit down somewhere, if I go I'm killing time somewhere, I'll just start talking to somebody. I just want to know what they're all about, And,
that's the one thing I need to work on.
And that's cool. I mean, if you do, and here's the thing. Listen way more than you talk.
Okay. Yeah.
Right? And it's just, people love to talk about themselves. And this is kind of a journalistic thing. You get people talking about themselves, and all of a sudden they're going blah, 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 blah. They're telling you all sorts of stuff. And if you're just a good listener, that will happen. And when you walk away, they'll go, man, that guy was the nicest guy I ever met.
Yeah.
Because you listened.
Yeah.
And if you're authentically interested, it comes across.
Yeah, because I have some people who probably look at me and think that I'm a mean guy or this guy, but then when they get to talking to me and they get to feel me out a little bit, they like, oh, you're an awesome guy, you're a cool guy. And I'm like, yeah, I just respect people how I want to be respected. So I'm not going to come at nobody on no negative energy. I just give you the energy you give me back. So
yeah. And don't make assumptions about people, right?
Right.
That's, I think you've experienced both sides of that, right?
Yeah.
You've made assumptions about people and you've been wrong about them, and then vice versa. And we're all the same. So let's get right down to it. We're all just kind of trying to get through life and do something constructive, hopefully.
Like I said about the digital mass media program, though, how you guys let us get our hands on so much good equipment, like right off the bat, like. It was getting to do the first start off with the Vixen. It was a setup to see how long, see if you gonna last or you gonna be like, oh, I quit this program. We ain't doing nothing with these cameras. Then next come back, get the Canon. Then we get to work with the Canon Mark IV. Like I learned so many cameras in different trades, like the C100, like all of them, like all them cameras and even these lights and stuff. Just you taught me so many things that I want to thank you and like really like show you my gratitude. Like I appreciate you for everything you taught me and all the things you did. Like I never been to a music recital, like never been to any of those type of things, the film festivals, all that stuff. You like opened my eyes up to those type of things. And then like I said, anytime you needed help, if I could help, I showed up like to help you just to learn them things.
And it's fun once you go, right? You go to the music recital, and now obviously you're thinking about what's it like to be a music student. And then you want to talk to them. Right? And what's it like to be a film producer in New York City who comes to Dubuque, Iowa to come to a film festival, right? It's just you have that natural curiosity, I think, and that desire to just learn stuff.
Yeah, and
that's cool. Yep. That's cool.
So shout out to the digital mass media
program. All right. So did you want to talk about pictures, or what do you want to do with that? Or how long is this thing supposed to go?
It just goes. Like I just goes. This might be like the longest one I have because, like I said, you're the person that you the one that like showed me so much things, like personally, like a personal teacher, like showed me all this stuff that I learned. Like you said, my first videos was this horrible. Like even the first interview was like. A mic wouldn't be working, the audio wasn't right, I see something in the background, like how did I miss that? There's so many things that you have to like fix, like, but I thank the people who let me make the mistakes to like gave me the opportunity to even make those mistakes because they never would even let me do this, come this far to fix those things if I never did it. So
you pick stuff up so quickly though. That's the coolest thing to about working with you. It's like, man, I don't have to say it twice. Like I said earlier, it's just like one time and you're on. And that's when you're working in the field, you will notice that amongst people you work with. All of a sudden you'll be like, okay, these people over here, they all get this. Man, that person over there, not quite as quick. And that's not, that's not to denigrate that person. Just say, okay, when I work with that person, I got to be conscious of that so that I can bring them along a little bit. I got to make sure I'm clear in what I'm telling them, that's an interesting thing. I often think that education is like 10% information and 90% inspiration. And if you can fire somebody up about what they're doing, this part will take anybody can. I used to say I can train any monkey to run a camera. Right? And to some degree, it's true. A little more difficult with video, right? more moving parts. But it's that inspiration part, right? And if you can fire people up about learning and about what they're doing in their craft, the education part will take care of itself.
So the photo-wise, you have taken some amazing photos. Like you got presidents, you got like all type of things that you have photos of, right?
It's crazy living in Iowa. I've been so lucky. With the first in the nation caucuses, they started in like 1972. I think was the first year they had them here. I started as a photojournalist in like 83, roughly. So every president that's been president since then, I've photographed up until Donald Trump.
Wow.
And it's just because they come through here, and they stop, and they're not president. Sometimes they're not president when we first photograph them, and then they become president, and then later they come back, and then they're president. We go, and so I've been in presidential motorcades and all that kind of stuff, and on the pool photographer stuff, and it's been a really crazy experience. And that's just like. That is something, I mean, as photojournalists, we got a window to the world that not many people ever have.
Right.
And access to people that not many people ever had. And just to rub shoulders and to be in those environments is really pretty cool.